We are Duck Hunting Fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies. Only Duck Hunting Fanatics know what it feels like to see a brightly colored drake mallard cup its wings and soar towards your decoys. It's what we do, and it's what we love. Duck Hunting Fanatics, with boots on the ground, eyes in the skies reports. And we get it from professional duck guides all across the country. We interview them for their top tips and tricks from their years of experience from the duck hunting blind. This is Duck Hunting Fanatics, and this is Eric Wilkes.
Greetings, fellow duck hunters. Eric Wilkes here with Duck Hunting Fanatics on another podcast here today. And we have a very special guest for you again today. It seems like we've had a lot of incredible guests. I'm really excited about this one. We have Zach Hopper from Buck Gardner Calls on with us today. Welcome, Zach. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Thank you for the invite to be here.
Absolutely. So I have one question, because we know you work for Buck Gardner. And we're going to talk about that, but I always like to hear kind of your story. How did you first get exposed to hunting?
Right. Yeah. So my earliest memory of hunting, I was like 4 years old, drawing on a coloring book in a box stand, deer hunting with my dad and my granddad. And so I guess what you would call a deer hunter by trade. That's what I started out doing. And man, I did that until my dad took me to shoot some wood ducks in a creek. And then after that, it was downhill waterfowl ever since. And man, that's all I care to do when it's fall, winter time.
That's awesome. What's your favorite thing about waterfowl hunting?
Man, I mean, it probably just being there with the people. And I mean, you get to see some incredible things that I don't think that any other hobby might let you see. Like, no offense to the deer hunters or anything like that, but hunting waterfowl, unless you have one plot of land where you're sitting in one blind every time, you're usually traveling or you're hunting different areas of your state or whatever like that. And the views you get to see and the camaraderie with your friends and seeing your dog work that you trained by yourself. I mean, all those things just kind of tie into it for me. And I mean, the kill probably comes last. I mean, that's always fun, posting pictures of how many you killed, having a successful hunt. That it makes the hard work worth it. But it's like the process in between is probably what gets me the most.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree. I think, for me, it's just there's a lot of action, there's a lot of movement. There's patience at times. It's such a variety that of skill sets and things that you have to kind of go through and process as you're out there. And I get just a kick out of watching the dogs work more than anything, especially like you said, if you trained it yourself, even if you didn't, it's just, you get just as much fun watching the drive that these dogs have for chasing down ducks. And it's just unbelievable and unreal. And it's fun to experience. It's part of why we all got into duck hunting. So thanks for sharing a little bit about your background and your story. And I understand you're the director of marketing at Buck Gardner Calls. But tell us a little bit about what it's like to work at Buck Gardner.
Man, the name is pretty much a household name. I mean, anybody that's gone into a Bass Pro Shops, and looked for a duck call has seen Buck Gardner Calls on the shelf. And so that's not, I mean, working here, you would think that, we would have 25 employees, as many calls as we make, and it's really not. It's a really small operation, and we're a family here. And I think right now we have 9 people here in the shop that and a lot of them have been here for 12 plus years, and there's a few of us that hadn't been here 2 years yet. So I mean, it's really fun. I mean, people think, oh, you work for a duck call company, it must be duck hunting 24/7. No, there's a lot of days that aren't fun, and that comes with anything. I mean, just like hunting, there's a lot of days where things don't go your way. Working in the warehouse isn't always glorious, but it's getting to go to events and shows and talking to people about it. Getting kids into it. and reaching out to people like that. I mean, the people that I've met through this have been, I mean, that's one of my favorite things is just meeting new people, talking to people, doing stuff like this. And I mean, working here is, I mean, it's a dream come true. As fresh out of college as I am, this is what I wanted to do, is be in the outdoor industry, marketing for somebody, and I couldn't ask for a better place to be. And um, just glad I'm here.
That's awesome. Sounds like you've made some good choices, and you've landed that dream job that a lot of us, spend our time chasing. And it's good to hear that, and it's good to know that, again, just in all transparency, to share with our viewers that, again, these are real people too. It's not just, and we all know Buck Gardner. We've all heard of it. Most of us have probably blown one of your calls a time or two, and it's always good to hear what it's like to be on the inside and actually be there and work and see what goes on kind of behind the scenes, if you will. So appreciate you sharing that. Next question, what would you say would makes Buck Gardner different versus any other duck call out there? Because obviously we have tons of choices, and like you said, when we go to Bass Pro, we go to Cabela's, we shop really at any outdoor store. We have any number of choices of duck calls. So what do you feel like is the biggest differentiator for Buck Gardner?
Right. So I mean, like you said, everybody, almost everybody in the duck hunting world has probably picked up or been around a Buck Gardner call, and the most iconic is probably the double nasty. And I would say what makes us different is that it's tried and true. Buck Gardner, the man himself, came up with the design of the call, worked on the call. I mean, it's been tinkered with throughout the years, but what makes us different is that, everything's done here. There's nobody that doesn't know what they're doing, putting their hands on these calls. And so, I mean, any Buck Gardner call you got, it's not assembled elsewhere. It's all assembled, and tuned and everything, pad printed, engraved, whatever, all here in Memphis, Tennessee. And there are a lot of call companies out there are, manufactured in the U.S., but I would say the time spent. I mean, I get one of our packaging ladies coming to me. She hands me like a barrel or an insert. Seems like every other day. She's like, "This has an air bubble in it, or this has a tiny little scuff in it that probably the everyday person wouldn't even notice." And so the attention to detail that we have here is, I mean, they catch things that I would have never caught or even thought about. But I would say that that's one of the things that sets us apart here is that there's a face, behind every call that you would pick up. It's, like I said, manufactured, tuned, and everything else here in the U.S. And we care a lot about, for one, our customers and our quality. So.
Yeah, and I think that level of detail, that last word you just said right there, quality, that level of detail is what, ultimately creates that quality. And the fact that it's tuned and that it's going to work and it's done right, that speaks volumes about who you guys are and why your calls are a household name today. What else do you have going on at Buck Gardner? What's new? What can our duck hunters look forward to? What else you got going on? What's coming out? What's new for this year, for 2022 and even into 2023?
Right. So definitely for 2022, something that us here are very excited about, and just kind of hitting on we paid a lot of attention to detail. This call, it's a duck call that we've got coming out for 2022, releasing probably July, August of this year. We went through, it felt like hundreds of different cuts of tone boards, and it's acrylic duck call. And no bias, I'll try to be as not biased as possible. It is by far one of the most versatile duck calls that is out there today. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good duck calls out there, and there's, everybody has their own way of blowing and doing things, but I think this call has something to offer for everybody. It's a single read, but you can pop it like a cut down, like bark on it like a cut down, or you can get a clean pitch out of it. And so, I'm very excited because I'm a cut down guy. I like to blow cut down. And so I was like, hey, we need to incorporate something, that's got a little something for everybody. And so me, Adam, and our tuner Alex sat down pretty much like a round table. Well, I like this one cut like this, try this. And so we just went back and forth, and open bores and closed them and extended tone channels. I mean, we sat there and sweated over those things for a very long time, and to finally have something that, I guess the new generation of Buck Gardner, we can put put everything behind it. We're very excited about that. So that's the call that we got coming out this year. And I mean, like every duck hunter, you want to try every call on the shelf, and
Exactly.
and I just encourage you that you ought to pick this one up.
Can you tell us the name of it?
Called the Audible.
The
And
Audible. There
And
you
I
go.
came up with the name for it, and I called it the Audible, not because it's like a musical instrument, but audible like in football, where you can change it up. Like I said, you can bark with it like a cut down, or you can blow clean air through it, and it performs like a J frame. And so that's why we named it that, because in mid hunt, if you see something ain't working, change it up a little bit. So that's why it's got that name.
Yeah, I love the name. It really is. You can call the audible right in the middle of the hunt, which is pretty cool. And then, most guys, they're going to carry a stack of calls with them anyway, so that they can change it up. So maybe this is one or two less calls you have to put in your arsenal to carry out with you. I'd be interested to field test it and see how that kind of pans out. So it's called the Audible for those of you that are listening or maybe watching. So watch for that. It's going to come out. You said when is it going to come out again? You said in July or August?
Yeah, into the summer, into early fall, well before duck season starts anywhere. So, and there's a lot of cool colors, a lot of in style colors, I guess, like the flat tan color, black cherry pearl, I think is one of them. I don't know. We've got some cool looks coming out as well. So
Awesome. Well, I'll be excited to check them out and see them once they come out. So for those of you again that are listening, the Audible by Buck Gardner, take a gander at that when it comes out. Look for that in July or August, and check it out and go grab one. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to blow on it and test it out and see what this thing sounds like. You got me excited now.
look, we're so excited here. We just can't hardly sit still, and they will be in a few retail stores. Starting out with it, we wanted to keep a lot of it close to home, and
Sure.
regardless of where you buy it, whatever call it is, we always say, if there's something wrong with the call, you don't go back to Bass Pro, don't go back to Cabela's, come to us. We'll make it right. I mean, it's our call. It's not Bass Pro's call. It's our call. And so even with this one, like I said, it'll be in stores there. And Bass Pro, I think it'll be in Shields for those that are kind of out west a little bit. So, any questions about it, regardless of where you get it, we'll be happy to help you out.
Awesome. Sounds great, man. Well, we look forward to it. I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Buck Gardner call and why?
Man, I don't want to ramble on it too much, but it's going to be this Audible. I got to, we called it the prototype for the longest time because we didn't have a name yet. And I got to use it Canada, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Arkansas. I used it all over the place this last year. And I tell you, it performs everywhere. So when you take it to Arkansas, bark on it like a cut down. When you take it to Canada, field mallard's got really good back pressure, and it'll squeal pretty good if you put just a little bit of back pressure in it. And so, like I said, it's very versatile. So anywhere that you hunt, regardless if you hunt marshes or if you hunt woods or dry fields, it'll hit on all those areas. So that's my favorite one by far. But anything in our line now, the buck brush is my go-to that we have in stock now that's already been released is definitely the buck brush.
The Buck brush and the Audible coming out. Well, there you go. Coming very, very soon. So we'll definitely look forward to checking out the Audible. And for those of you that are watching or can see the screen, you can see we have Buck Gardner's website up here. You can also check them out on social media out at Buck Gardner Calls on Facebook, Buck Gardner / Buck Gardner Calls on Instagram. And you can search their channel on YouTube. And I know you guys are working on some things. You've got some more stuff going on YouTube that you guys are kind of pulling together, as you were kind of sharing there as we at the beginning of the call. But stay on the lookout on YouTube, especially. I know again, Zach is the director of marketing. He kind of shared that they're doing some stuff on YouTube and TikTok. So go check them out on those channels as well. And Zach, again, just want to thank you for taking the time to be here. I know you probably got a pretty busy schedule. So thanks for taking some time to chat with us about duck hunting and about Buck Gardner calls. We certainly do appreciate it.
Man, thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. So thanks everyone for listening in, and we'll talk to you and we'll see you soon on the next episode of Duck Hunting Fanatics podcast. Everyone have a great day, and hopefully you're not too knee deep in the duck blind. We'll talk soon.
We are Duck Hunting Fanatics, knee deep in the duck blind. If it flies, it dies.